Good morning. Lovely to see your beautiful faces. I'm not going to already tell you what I've already told you, so I'm going to just talk about, I'd like to catch you up on what we've talked about so that we're kind of on the same page, or as close as we can be to the same page. And so last week, what we talked about is who have we been? Who have we been? Because it was New Year's Eve, and it was a time to reflect on what we had been doing for the previous year. And to know that we're either growing or we're shrinking, we're expanding or contracting, there's nothing else. We don't stay the same. Nothing stays the same. And so we want to be intentional about that, about the growth, because if it's not intentional, it is contraction. And today, I want to talk to you about how setting intention. So I love that song that you sang. Where is he? Do you live? He went to the back? Oh, right in front of me. Hello. David. Yeah, you. David, that was a great song. Perfect for this talk this morning about don't let my intentions be misunderstood. My intentions are good. So everything in the physical world, everything that we see here right now begins here in the mind of God, which is who we are, right? So everything that happens in our lives happens in our own minds first. So we get to decide, when we're looking at what's going on in our lives, we get to say, I don't want that. And then look at what we're thinking about. What's bringing that in? I'm not talking about accidental things. I'm not talking about that, because accidents do happen. We are on a physical planet, and things do run into each other. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about as you live your life every single day, and you're thinking about who you want to be and how you want to show up in the world, we have to set an intention for that. And so setting your intention is how you make a conscious choice. That's how you make that conscious choice for creating the life you want. And the first step is to decide what your intentions are. What are your intentions? I'm reminded of several television shows and movies and things where the father is asking the gentleman who's courting his daughter, what are your intentions with my daughter? What are your intentions, sir? All right? So you have to decide what your intentions are.
Because I got a big shotgun.
Okay, so I can tell you what my intentions are. So what we were at dinner on Thursday night when there were some friends, and I was asked by this lovely woman, just a dear heart, a loving, giving woman, and she asked me, Pjae, she knows I'm a minister, and she said, do you write your talks out ahead of time? I said, absolutely not. I can't do it. Because no matter what, if I can write it on Monday, but come Sunday, it's going to be different. And here's why. The intention that I set and continue to hold when I first accepted the invitation to come and to speak with you about whether or not we could work together and I could be your minister, what I set with Spirit is that I need you every Sunday morning to be with me, so that whatever I speak is speaking to who's ever in the room. And how do I know who's going to be in the room on Monday? I don't know who's going to be in the room, right? I need Spirit to talk with me and to share with me. And the way that I get messages from God is that I get excited about something. Like I'll hear somebody say something, okay, yeah, good. But it doesn't fill my soul. But so I shared that with her. And then I went home, and it wasn't Saturday, so it must have been Friday night. I had gotten a lot of cards because I was out of town for Christmas. And so I gotten a lot of cards from friends. Thank you, Bill, for bringing my mail in. And so I decided to sit and take time to read all those letters that I got. And I got a letter from that very friend who was asking me whether or not I write my talks ahead of time. And in it, she sent a letter, or a poem that said, what will matter? And I thought, oh my God, perfect for this morning. That's why I don't do my talks early, because that's just been a waste of time. I know that Spirit, sometimes He talks to me on Sunday morning. They let us scratch that. What we're going to talk about is this. Okay, great. So I want to share with you the poem, What Will Matter. What will matter is not what you bought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, or sacrifice that enriched, empowered, or encouraged others. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident. It's not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. Choose to live a life that matters. And you can see that's the end of the poem. And I didn't use the whole poem, so you can look at it's called What Will Matter. And it starts off really wonderful. That was a salient point, and I think you live by choice. And as I said earlier, the way that we live consciously is by setting our intention and attention, because setting your intention also sets your attention. What do you pay attention to? It's who you intend to be. So it's very important to live a life of matters that you set your intention. And here's what I know about intentions. You said, oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood because my intentions are good. Here's what I know about us recognizing that we are one. And when we recognize that, and everyone that we look at, we know that they are a part of us, that we are together. And there's nothing, if you're looking at people that way, there can be nothing but love. So if your intentions are misunderstood, as mine were last week when I shared with you what this woman called me a heifer, that was not my intention. My intentions were misunderstood. And that's the way it goes. Because we don't have any control over what anybody else receives. All we have control over is what our intentions are. And to make those as clear as possible. If someone misunderstands, they misunderstand. We don't have to, beat our heads and, whip ourselves and carry on. I said, we got to do that because we know what we're trying to do and who we actually are. So if somebody else thinks about you or how they receive it, that's their business, not yours. Not yours. Do what's yours to do. That's my favorite. I'm going to get some merchandise, some T-shirts. What's yours to do? That's all you have to worry about, okay? You have to worry about that. Just set your intention. And sometimes you modify your intention. Just because you start off thinking, this is my intention, I want to do this. And as you go about having experience with it, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't quite it, it's this. And you get to modify it and make it exactly who you want to be. We don't have to worry about it, we don't have to beat ourselves up about it. It's a constant and continual looking at and revising what we think is working, who we want to be. And allowing us to show up that way. And one of the reasons why I revise it is when I find myself not showing up the way that I wanted to show up. I shared with you a while back, and I have another great Walmart story. I don't know if I shared it this morning, but is that I showed up at Walmart and I fortunately good, thank the Lord, I didn't actually speak it out. Everything that was going on was in my head. Right? I didn't speak out what I was thinking. And by the time I walked out to the car and came back with my purse and then engaged with this person again, I realized all that craziness that was going on in my head was craziness in my head. So thank the Lord, I didn't speak it out. But that's one of the things that you get to, I took a look at and thought, why were you acting like that? Because you don't want to do that. That's not what you have set your intention as. The fact is I was dead tired. I really should not have stopped. So what my thing now is don't stop and engage with people if you're too tired. Don't do it. Because you're not going to show up as who you actually are. So that's all. I didn't change my intention, but I changed how I engaged, when I engage, so that I do show up as I want to show up. That's what we get to do. That's what we get to do. So that's the point. Set your intention and set your attention and live a life that matters. And so the other thing I want to tell you is that some people have mentioned this too, that over this past holiday season, I don't know if it's because of COVID and we just kind of miss being together. I don't really know. But everywhere I've gone, it has just been lovely. I have people waving and saying, how you doing? And Merry Christmas and have a good time. And I just ran it, nowhere I went. Did I not, except the train station? But generally speaking, that's like 99 out of 100%. It was wonderful people saying, hi, how you doing? And so I said, oh, it's the holiday season, you know. But we're through the holiday season, and that's still happening. It's still happening. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I just wanted to know. I just want to share that I'm still experiencing that, and that we seem to be in some place where we just are being nice to each other now. And I will share this with you. I did go to Walmart, and I was doing my, I guess it's kind of like my monthly shopping. I had a basket full of stuff, and I got a big bottle of laundry detergent. I finally run out of laundry detergent, so that was the first thing in my basket. So I scanned it and moved it to the side because I wasn't going to put it in a bag. I was going to put it in my bag later. And then I got everything else and scanned it all and paid for it and left. And then a couple days later, I went to go wash clothes and realized I didn't put that laundry detergent in my bag. I'm like, oh, shoot. All right, well, let me just go tell them, what happened. They don't have to believe me, right? I could have just, who knows? But I just went back and I said, well, I bought this and I forgot to put it in my bag. And she said, okay, just go ahead and go back and get it. I said, all right. And she said, when you finish, just come on to the front. You have to get in line again because, you go to customer service and it's all this line there. She said, I don't have to get in line again. Just come back up. I was like, I don't want to be getting in front of people. I'm starting no mess here. So I went back to get it, and I brought it back, and she said, because I had my receipt, and she goes, it's not the same number. It doesn't have the same number. That's not the same thing. I said, well, it's what I bought, extra, because they had the same name. And I said, well, maybe it was a different, smell or something. So I went back, looked at all the ones, looked at all the numbers. There wasn't a thing back there that had the number that I bought. So I went back, and I took the thing back, and I said, there is nothing back there that has this number on this receipt. She goes, no problem. We'll just scan this one in. And no one had any problem with me. Like, you could tell if people have a problem when you get in front of them. They're like, what are you doing? Rolling their eyes and carrying on. Nobody did that. Because I was looking back. I was checking to see if anybody had any hurt feelings. But nobody did. Nobody did. Everybody was just wonderful. And, when you're returning stuff, it's kind of tense. Because you don't know how they're going to, if they're going to think you're lying or who knows. It was fabulous. And that has been happening since December. And before December, it's been happening. Have you guys been experiencing that? Some of that? I'm seeing some nods. It really is. It's a lovely thing. And I'm just going to continue being me. And one of the things that I believe, one of the reasons why, no, I don't believe it. I know it's a law. The law of attraction. It says that we attract into our lives the people, the places, the circumstances that are in line with our dominant thinking. Our dominant thinking. So that means if you expect great things, if you expect people to be nice, to be loving, if that's who you are, that's what you're wanting, that's what you're going to attract. Birds of a feather and all that, right? And if you're expecting trouble, trouble comes your way because that's what you're expecting. So I believe that setting our intentions and setting our attention to what it is we want to be also ignites or starts that law of attraction where you're bringing to you the things, the places, the circumstances, all of that are in line with that thought. So you're creating the great life you want also by setting your intention and by your and how it informs your environment. How it informs your environment. You understand? So it's not just about you setting your intention so that you can be and show up as you are, but it's also because you attract and create this environment around you that supports what you're thinking. That's why it's so important that you think about who you want to be. Set your intention for who you plan on being when you step out the door, when you put your foot on the floor every single morning. What are you expecting to see or to find or to get or to be? This is all up to you. I started this talk by saying everything in the physical planet, everything in your life starts here with your mental thoughts, So I think that is a powerful thing to know, right? Because that means you're in charge. That means you get to say. And even when something comes like illness that you have no control over, things just go wrong. You have illness. But how you want to be while you're doing that, what your expectation is, that you expect either to be healed or that there's something that's happening to you that you're going to serve the world with. However you want to think about that, you get to decide, oh, woe is me, oh my God, it only happens to me. You could think that. Or you could think there's an experience here for me. My life is heading in a direction because of this. I'm going to be an example for someone, for myself as well. For myself as well. But that's what we get to do. So all the choices are ours. All the choices are ours. I think that's a fantastic thing to know. I think it's fantastic. I hope you do too. So that's all I wanted to tell you. What will matter to you? We talk about, and we go to funerals and memorials and things like that, and think about what we want people to be saying about us once we pass away. We're not going to know that. We're not going to know that. We can imagine. We're not going to know that. But we will know what people think about us right here and right now. Right here and right now. And what do we think about ourselves is the most important thing. What do you think? What do you think? So at the end of our life, you're either going to be one of two things. This is true. You're either going to be a great example of something or a horrible warning of something, right? That's what your life is going to end up being. A great example or a horrible warning. That's it. What do you want to be? That's going to be your choice. It's going to be your choice. So here are the 3 action steps that I want to give you. Number 1, define your intentions. What do you intend? As you get up in the morning, what do you intend the day to look like? How do you intend to receive people? Who do you intend to be this day? Set it. Set that intention. Define it, number 1, then set it. And then number 3, whatever your intentions are, these are your, what I call, for the military, your marching orders. Or what I also call the DRM, your daily roadmap to how you're going to be in the world. So you don't have to be thinking about it all the time. You already said it. This is who I am. And every morning you remind yourself, this is who I am. And this is how I'm going to show up. You have control over that. That's your choice. And no one gets to say whether it's right or wrong. It's your life. Everybody has one, right? One life, one person, one life, it's yours. Everybody's going to try to tell you how to live it, and I'm certainly one of those as well. But I know that doesn't work, and it doesn't need to work. Why? I don't need to tell you how to live. Because as I said, I think last week, a couple weeks ago, and I probably said it a million times, all I'm here to do, any of us are here to do when it comes to other people is to remind them of who they are. You know for them before they know for themselves. If they can't know for themselves, you know it for them. Because we know the truth. We are all individualized expressions, and you see that in them. People can see that you see that in them. People can see when you're judging and when you're not, when you're accepting them and when you're not. If you see them as God, as one of you, what else is there to do but to accept who they are? To be compassionate about where they are and expect great things coming soon. That's what we get to do. So, setting your intention is making a conscious choice for creating your life. And the first step is to decide what your intentions are. Live by choice, set your intention, and live a life that matters. It doesn't happen by accident. Not a matter of circumstance. It doesn't matter what circumstance you're in. Whatever circumstance you're in, you get to choose how you're going to be in that circumstance. I want to leave you with this final quote. Mindfulness has helped me succeed in almost every dimension of my life. By stopping regularly to look inward and become aware of my mental state, I stay connected to the source of my actions and thoughts and can guide them with considerably more intention. That's from Dustin Maskovitz, an American businessman. My final thoughts for you. We don't know how much time we get here. We don't know. I say that pretty much all the time. We don't know. We get what we get. What I do know is that we don't have time to mess around. We don't have time to mess around. Whatever it is you're going to do, do it now. Do it now. I don't know, somebody used to say that. I don't know if that was one of my, Brian Tracy. I think it is Brian Tracy. It was Brian Tracy. He was one of my first book authors that became a mentor for me, not personally, but just reading his books and going to see him. And he said, I do it now. Whatever you're thinking about, you don't put it, I do it now. I do it now. I do it now. That was his motto. And he said it all the time, and I say it too. Make every moment of your life count by being intentional with your thoughts and your actions. And so it is. Namaste.